Welcome back to Omen Exitio Plague. My name's Hoagie, and I'm looking for my squaw, who is also called an old friend. Oh, I hate that fucking voice so much, but it's so funny. Last time we kind of started doing some research with this whole plague shit. We kind of got to figure that out. Like, I would assume sooner would be good. You know, I don't want to do the big die. I don't want all of humanity to do the big die, and that seems to be what's going to be happening, if I had to guess. Okay, so traversing Mile End, you reach the gleaming white facade of Queen Mary University of London. The time you spent here was intense, and you have mixed emotions seeing it again now. It was home to many pleasurable moments, but also to the anguished final months you spent obsessively researching before your departure to Zanzibar. You skip up the steps. Oh, we're very fun. We're skipping. Oh, wait. Well, I don't like that sound. You skip up the steps at the entrance and go inside. The experience seems both old and new at the same time. Why did the music change? I don't like this new music. You walk along the corridors full of voices and students. One of them appears to be in a great hurry, and he knocks into you painfully as he's hurtling down the hall. Oh, I'm glad that I like that experience. Thank you. I'm gonna do more observation. That feels like the way. I think. Maybe. Possibly. We're gonna die either way. What does it even matter? We've already failed. I feel failure. Sheets of paper and notebooks fly in all directions to the amusement of the various student onlookers who stop to observe the scene. Hey Fleming, don't your books teach you how to look where you're going? Boy! I'll be nice. Fleming hastens to pick up his things. Please, there's no need, thank you, please. I want to be as small as possible and you're drawing attention to me. As you return his papers, certain diagrams and formulae catch your eye. They represent rather complex notes of microbiological nature. Ooh. I will question you. You're not getting away from me. It's outside you should be running, boy, enjoying yourself instead of dashing around here with these notes, which appear to be rather complicated. What's your name? I'm just gonna question you, if that's okay. Alexander, sir. Alexander takes back his notes and starts putting them in order. There's an awkward moment as it becomes clear to you that he must go, but is trying to figure out how to do it without being rude. I hate that so much. I hate it lots. There's no time to enjoy myself, sir. I have a whole course to catch up. I must go. Please excuse me and thank you, with your permission. He lowers his head and sets off again. In his hurry, he almost knocks into another student, who growls at him menacingly. Oh, God, they're fucking feral here. You watch him moving off, careening, I think, distractedly along the corridor like a clumsy bluebottle. Oh, hello. Reginald. Well, I'll be Jake, you old rascal, you little piece of shit. I fucking love you, mate. You suddenly hear your name and immediately recognize the deep and cheerful tone of the voice saying, I like my interpretation more. You turn to see Reginald Chambers' sprightly face welcoming you with a wide, playful grin. Reginald is the professor of pharmacology, and the closest thing you ever had to a friend in your years at this institution. Oh, we have to chat with him. We can't not. Reginald, old boy, what's happening to you? Is the university wearing you out? You're looking thin. Reginald clasps his belly and grins. At nearly 20 stone, his ample bulk rarely goes unnoticed. Oh, you know how it is, Jake. These students suck you dry. And since the retirement of Betty from the university canteen, I'd say your old friend Reginald has lost a couple of pounds. Reginald releases a deep, loud cachinnation which fills the air all around. Oh, I think that's kind of what I did. I mean, mine was horrible, and his was probably funny. Tell me about you, though. What news of distant Zanzibar? Reginald, I'm not here on a social call. I could really use your help. In Zanzibar, I came across a very nasty disease. Something new and completely unknown. I'm heading to the library to find out more. Reginald looks at you seriously for once. He remembers well the time you spent in the library, obsessed with Helen's illness. The Queen Mary Library overwhelms you with its particular odor, a mixture of old paper, paraffin from the lamps, and a slight must of mold. You start refamiliarizing yourself and walk around until you come to the microbiology section, where a dark-skinned servant is busy arranging books. You find some potentially relevant volumes, but you're unsatisfied. Then your gaze falls on a stack of books that a man is arranging nearby. They seem ideal for your research. The man notices you looking at the pile and gives you a nod of permission. Oh, thank you. You add them to the books you're already carrying and hasten to the central table while Reginald is waiting. Jekyll boy, what do you intend to do with all these tomes? No, wait, I don't want to know. Whatever your intentions are, I have no wish to deal with them on an empty stomach. Let's go to the pub and get something in our bellies. Yes, yes. Unlike the library, the entrance to your old pub has a salubrious effect on you. It hasn't changed in the slightest since your last visit, and the tartan furniture is comfortingly worn through in all the same places. You follow Reginald to your usual table, where you used to spend long hours discussing and hypothesizing various scientific theories. A barmaid comes over to take your order. Oh, Shirley, look who I've brought along! Shirley puts a hand on her hips and throws you a warm smile. She physically throws it at our face. The old partners are back together then. I need not ask what old Reggie wants, but what shall I bring you, Jake? Give me a second. I want to look at this. What am I going to get next? I feel like I should get one of these 3 up to 4. But I fear leaving Speechcraft so far behind, because I know for a fact I'm going to need it. I mean, I really should get Fighting up as well, to be quite honest. Oh well! I want the same. As soon as Shirley goes off, you're piling onto the table some of the volumes that you took from the library. As you're doing so, you realize that one of them is not even a medical book at all. It seems very curious to you because you were quite sure that you had read all the titles before taking them. Which one is it? Oh, this is an important one then. It's Egyptian. It seems to be a text on ancient Egyptian myths. Flicking through it with some curiosity, you come to a page which has been bookmarked with a thin red ribbon, and there, staring out at you, is a symbol. An eye. It's like that thing that we saw many times. It's almost like that, in a sense. I want more Speechcraft. I want to be able to talk good. There can be no question. It is almost identical to the symbol encountered on your adventure. Is this merely an odd coincidence, or is there some sort of hidden connection? A flurry of interrogatives. Interrogatives. I don't think I've ever used that as a word. A flurry of interrogatives occupies your thoughts. Realizing that Reginald is observing you with a puzzled expression, yeah, it would be kind of weird to get all these medical books. It's like, oh, but look at this Egyptian myth. You put the book back with the others and start telling about the things which you saw in Zanzibar. You begin to get caught up in the fervor of your tale, but while your jovial friend keeps smiling all the while, his eyes begin to show a growing concern. Fair. Very fair. A polite cough makes you raise your head from your study. Shirley has returned carrying 2 big plates and looks at you with some consternation. Eventually you realize what she wants and you clear some space on the table for your meal. It's like, get your fucking shitty books out of my way, goddammit. I've got a goddamn job to do. Reginald launches himself into his food. Oh, that's terrible. He's physically jumping into it. He must desire greatly. But you only glance at the enormous steak and chips on your plate before... We only glance at that? That looks like a nice steak. I mean, I don't even really care for steak personally, which I know is a bit heathenish to some people. Certain people would call me a heathen, but whatever. It looks good in the picture. Before returning to the paragraph you're reading, there's a description of a certain skin rash that you're particularly interested in. Oh, Reginald, look at this rash. Let me see if I've got this right. This disease causes fever, weeping sores, and ocular hemorrhage. The poor victims bleed from all these sores and they weep blood. I can only imagine the smell of their body's manufacture. Nodding, you notice a couple just behind Reginald. The woman pushes away her plate, and the man stops midair with a fork full of food. Reginald's loud description has clearly and understandably ruined their appetite, as it should. As it should. The same cannot be said for Reginald himself, who was polishing off the last few mouthfuls of his meal and washing it down with an enormous gulp from his mug of ale. I read about something similar just the other day. Some research by a microbiologist called Martinus Bierink, describing a disease he's looking at. These all seem very similar. these seem like a bit of a but thou must. I'll check where I read it. It was in the scientific appendix of the Standard, one of last week's editions. Tell me more. Although he doesn't work on humans, Martinus has done a series of studies that are apparently close to understanding the true nature of certain diseases. They are said to be discoveries that will change medicine completely. Wow. As much as a Dutchman can be, I suppose. If you're asking me if I think he's just after fame, I'd have to say no. He's a botanist and a microbiologist of some renown, and his studies they've been garnering a great deal of interest in the scientific community of late. I love this man. I love him. Do you still have it? What? Can you just give me like 1,000 experience? Well, I may still have a copy in my office. Otherwise, we can easily find another in the university library. You hurriedly collect up all the books from the table, pay the bill, leaving a generous tip for Shirley, and set off along the road, all the while admonishing Reginald to quicken his pace. It's like, get on here, motherfucker! We've got shit to do. After rereading the article several times, you conclude that Bierink's theories may very well explain various aspects of disease in general, and this one specifically. This article, however, seems to deliberately omit important information. You inform Reginald of this, who is observing you attentively. At this point, I think we should try and speak to Bierink himself. Oh. This is odd that they would ask me. Is Reginald about to die? I think that would be a horrible, horrible thing to happen. It would make me very sad if he died. Fuck it. I don't want to disappoint you, but it's not as easy as you might think. Martinus Bierink lives in Delft, in Holland. Going to Holland, apparently. What if I just go? What if I just do it? What do you think would happen? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. Reginald grins. I was hoping that you'd say that. I've got my hot air balloon ready to go. I'm all packed up, support. We're going to go to fucking Holland. He's insane. You're already heading towards the door, mentally going through what you need to do to set off immediately, but then you realize your friend has stopped behind you. You turn to see Reginald stroking his chin and looking at you thoughtfully. The journey will be long and expensive. Are you sure about this? Maybe we should go to the bank before leaving. There is no need. I have everything we need. Meet me at the port. Are we really just going? Oh, I hope this isn't bullshit. If this is all bullshit, this is the biggest waste of time and money I've ever seen. It may very well be. You're walking with Reginald near the Thames, watching his face, wincing comically at its terrible smell. The area around the docks is utter chaos. Oh god, if he's going with us, I'm gonna have to do this voice a lot, aren't I? Such is my design. The area around the docks is utter chaos, and it's not easy to avoid collisions and the jostling mayhem. Reginald is holding his bag to his chest and is constantly on the lookout for gangs of dirty, ragged street urchins. You cannot help but compare it to the port of Zanzibar, but quickly decide that here in London it is far less civilized and more chaotic. Finally, you have freed yourselves from the crowd and made it to the shipping office. You tell Reginald to wait for you with the luggage while you go and buy the tickets. Good morning. How can I help you? Good morning. I'd like 2 tickets for a passenger ship to the Netherlands, please. Oh my goodness. You need not concern yourself over the price. The amount you were given by the Germans was more than enough. I would hope so. There's a whole ass book. There's like a whole thing of money. I hope I don't have to go through that for just to get 2 tickets to a goddamn thing. This is Europe. It's supposed to be cheap to get around, huh? You and Reginald walk carefully up the narrow, creaking gangway onto the ship's deck. Turning back to look at the docks, you have the strange feeling of seeing London as already in the distance, as if those couple of yards were already hundreds of miles. There are a series of sailors' shouts all around, and the ship sets sail for Rotterdam. A very helpful sailor accompanies you below deck to show you your berths. The Mary Rose, too, is a nice little ship that will allow for an agreeable and comfortable voyage. The sailor leaves you and Reginald in your new cabin. Why would that be a mistake? No, it's not a mistake. It's fine. Archie, why are you willing to come with me? What are your thoughts? What does he think about this disease? It seems to me, from the symptoms that you've described, to be a strain of plague, but with many, perhaps too many, incongruous details. It may well turn out to be a new type of bacterium, or perhaps something else. New theories are always emerging in our area of study. I like that it's a strain of plague. The disease plague. You nod your agreement. That is why it's so important to speak with Bjerink. I promise you, no part of what I'm saying, is how that word is pronounced at all. At all. I just know it. I feel it. Why are you coming? If you really need to know, I have 2 very good reasons to be here. Your friend smiles warmly and grabs his stomach. This here wants to try some new food. I haven't had a proper adventure since I was a student at the university, and I don't know how much longer I'll be able to have them. I'll die any day now. I'm older than you think. Reginald laughs heartily. You look at him, wanting to hear his second reason. Secondly, Jake, you don't seem to be in any sort of condition to deal with all this alone. You're having these weird fucking nightmares, don't you know? You scream about them at night. I listen. I'm afraid you just end up doing something daft. I guess we can talk about the Germans. If it's a lot of money, I can't see what your mistake could have been. I would fucking roll in the dollars. I love money. You cannot help but laugh at your friend's reaction. Although you've already recounted what transpired in Zanzibar, you now tell him all about Meyer and the strangeness of the circumstances in which he sought you out, first in Africa, and then immediately on your return to England. Well, I don't think you have any sort of legal obligation to him because of the money, and besides, you're fulfilling your side of the bargain by continuing your research. If it turns out to be as new and dangerous as you think, you can always make it public, and there won't be much left from Maya anyway. I'm going to be buying so much food with your money. I love this new thing that's happening, where we get experience points every 2 seconds. I am so 1000% fine with that. I want more though. Is it okay that I'm leaving fighting that low, do you think? Is that okay? Is that gonna get me killed? I'm gonna die because of that. Reginald's reasoning is actually fairly sound, but nevertheless, you cannot share his optimism entirely. I don't at all. I think it will possibly come back to bite us in the ass, but I don't know how we would have do all this without the money, so fuck it. You doubt that this agreement will come to such an easy resolution. Yeah, I don't expect it to at all. Before getting some rest, let's eat some of this food brought by that uniformed girl just now. Reginald uncovers a big silver platter and releases a cloud of wonderful smelling steam. Oh, lovely. For once you decide to join your gourmandizing companion in his repast. I don't think I've seen that word before. In his repast before settling down into your comfortable bunk. Once more, and for the whole trip, sleep refuses to treat you kindly. Oh. is it time for the nightmares again? You can't stop thinking of Zanzibar, of Meyer, and of the disease. Every train of thought breeds new mysteries. You only hope that bereft can give you answers to those questions which are driving you mad. Opening your eyes, the first thing you see is Reginald. He's reading a book and chewing something. He smiles when he sees that you're awake. He's about to speak to you when there's a loud ringing. The ship is entering Rotterdam port. I'm so glad. Oh my god, is that enough to do something? I just want to do something now. Just give me so many points right now, please. I just want it. The coach driver shouts something to you in a hard German accent, and you look out of the carriage window. You're finally leaving Rotterdam behind, and after a while you make out the first signs of the outskirts of Delft. Delft. This is the city of Delft. With the money given to you by the Germans, you have no trouble finding great lodgings near the university. How much money are we going through exactly? Like, don't go crazy. Don't spend it all in one place. We might need to go other places. It's a fine building, and Reginald is already at the window scoping the best spots to eat. There are indeed various places on both sides of the canal. Since you're feeling excited, as if at the start of some pleasurable holiday, you decide to relax and enjoy the moment, rather than dwell on the reality of being caught up in a complex web of intrigue and mysteries. that whole bit. I'll just not think about that at all. I'll not think about the bad cosmic forces surrounding us. If we don't think about it, they can't hurt us, right? You unpack and organize the few things you brought with you, and while Reginald takes care of the formalities related to your accommodation, you decide to go straight to university to try and see bereft. As you leave, you close the door behind you. It does not seem very solid. It doesn't seem very solid. I feel like that's an important detail that my mind has recorded. Having studied a map of Delft, you know that it's pretty straightforward to get to the university from where you're staying. You walk a few streets and soon find yourself at the steps which lead up to the college. I mean, we should probably just ask about him first. That seems weird to, like, give me a meeting right now. I mean, I guess we could. It might be weird, though. What if he's dead? He might be dead. We don't know that yet. Let's ask. He shows you to the office of Dr. Martinus bereft. You're in such a state of agitation that you feel almost as if you're a teenager about to go on a first date. Okay, it's just some dude that wrote some stuff. Okay, like, calm down. Calm down. You knock and enter the office. Professor bereft recognizes you and immediately welcomes you warmly. Oh, that's so nice. Ooh, he's good looking. Bereft. As soon as I heard your English accent, I knew who you were. I don't have enough information in my I can't do a Dutch accent, okay? I don't got enough to go off of. The professor offers to give you a tour of the college, and you take the opportunity to see the laboratory where you'll be working together and exchanging ideas over the following days. Oh, okay. So did we already talk to him or something? He seems to know exactly what's going on. Bereft is friendly, but he's clearly avoiding talking about the reason why you're here. Well, that's the reason I'm here. Professor bereft's quiescence continues to exasperate you over the days that follow. What do you mean? A lot of time's going by very quickly. It's worrying me. Every morning you make your way to the laboratory where you spend a few hours with him or alone when he has lectures. You study various diseases and discuss theories together without ever explicitly discussing that disease. I mean, you should. Oh, god damn it. Every time you bring it up, bereft immediately changes the subject. But since it is clear that much of the research that you're doing has many things in common with the African disease, you decide not to force the issue for now. I would force the issue right now. Like, how much time do we really have to be fucking around with stuff? Oh god, I love that they're giving me experience. I just want more. Your time in Delft is fast beginning to follow a routine. Reginald often comes with you to the laboratory, but most of the time he wanders around the city, enjoying its culinary traditions, about which he gives you enthusiastic nightly reports. Sometimes you go out with him to eat, but you often have a strange and unpleasant feeling that you're being watched. That's because we're being watched. That would be why. You're trying a traditional stamp pot. Stamp pot. Stamp pot. Stamp pot? Stomp pot? Stamp pot. Never heard of that. which Reginald has been ranting about for days. Berink is busy at the university, and Reginald is away for a few days visiting The Hague, which is not far away. Once again, you're feeling observed. Bitch, stop fucking looking at me! But when you look behind you, there's nothing, or perhaps only a shadow. Then you notice someone sitting a few tables away, dressed very stylishly. He is brazenly staring straight at you. Meyer! I think it would be very weird to avoid his presence. Like, that would make it seem like we have something to hide, which we don't. We have nothing to hide. Even though he needs to stop fucking following me. You move over to where Meyer is sitting. Dr. Huntington, what a pleasure. Will you join me for supper? I guess. I suppose. I guess. I don't know about this. Once seated, a few moments pass in silence. He is measured and calm. He seems to be toying with you. You piece of shit. Dr. Huntington, we are satisfied with your decision to collaborate with Berink and the steady progress being made. Certain details, however, interest us in particular. He's looking you straight in the eye. He's looking into my soul. I know he is. His smiling coolness betrays disquieting undertones, and every word seems to contain a veiled threat. We have eyes and ears everywhere, Dr. Huntington, but it is not enough. We require a return on our investment. No final results as yet, rather an update on the current state of your research. I mean, he gave us a lot of money. I think it's okay if we just, have a little conversation with him. You feel repugnance at his menacing tone. However, having accepted their money, you can hardly back out now. Is it 4 more points, I think? Yep, 4 more. A pathogenic agent smaller than a bacterium. The idea is disturbing, but the research that you and Berink have been conducting on sick tobacco leaves continues to confirm this seemingly absurd hypothesis. I mean, that doesn't seem difficult at all. It's called a virus. Oh, we're learning what a virus is. I guess I didn't really know when they understood, what viruses were. That isn't. I don't know that much about medical history, but that's kind of interesting. That's gonna be sad for them when they figure that all out. Berink has already chosen a name for it, virus. It seems almost more like a machine, in the way it reproduces, attacking cells and using them to multiply, than a biological organism. Many of the anomalous aspects that have troubled you since Zanzibar are beginning to make some sort of sense. Oh, I'm glad we're getting information now. That's good. Your research has come to a critical phase, and Berink is invigorated and beginning to show some emotion for the first time. Oh my god, 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 oh my god. What do I want? What do I want? I kind of like being the best at medicine there's ever been, so I'm gonna do that. Berink, I think the time has finally come for our discoveries to be made public, Dr. Huntington. The world of medicine will never be the same. Berink has started the process of publication, but it will take time before it is verified and peer-reviewed. Yeah, you decide to use this time for a short break. You've recently been taking long, reflective walks around Delft, trying to tally the results of your research with the pathology of the East African disease. Chief among your current concerns is resolving this question of the means of transmission and spread of the so-called virus. Despite spending time at the epicenter of this disease, you've had no symptoms, or at least not of the type that you observed there. Could this mean that this mysterious virus has a different effect on different people? Perhaps a single virus can even give rise to different diseases? Yeah. 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 As you're wandering near the cathedral, thinking about all these strains of the puzzle, you come across a small boy selling newspapers. Something catches your eye on the front page, and so you buy a copy. You've only learnt a few words and expressions in Dutch, so you can't really understand the article properly, but you do understand that it's an article about your and Berink's research. Skimming the article, you see it mentions the university, the professor, and some of his colleagues. There is no trace of your name, however. That scumfuck piece of shit. I'm gonna beat him. Oh wait, I can't do that. I can't fight. It is certainly puzzling. Why would Berink have kept your name out of the reports? What motivation could he have had? It's very strange because you would never have taken him for an opportunist. I bet he was approached by the Germans. I bet they approached him and told him, don't put anything in me in there. Or don't put anything about me in there. That's my initial guess. Then there's the question of Zanzibar. Since the moment you first arrived, the professor has continuously avoided the subject. Despite using ideas and evidence gleaned from your experience, you haven't once discussed it openly. The colors of Delft soften, and as the shadows lengthen and evening falls, you walk back to your lodgings. You reflect on what your next move will be. Entering the apartment, you immediately smell Reginald's cooking. You fall into an armchair and tell your friend that you aren't hungry. Your appetite has been ruined by this discovery. Yeah. You are mulling over plausible explanations when there's a knock at the door. Who is it? I'm looking for Dr. Huntington. Oh, please don't kill me. You recognize the voice. It's Meyer. Reginald turns to look at you questioningly, but you're already on your feet and moving closer to the door. It doesn't look. It does, dude. I still half believe that he's some great old one. Keeping the door closed will do nothing. You open the door to find Meyer's smiling face. He immediately asks if you'd like to accompany him for a drink. No, I don't at all. At all. At all. But I will. I feel... I know he's evil. Because the game has told me in numerous ways that he's evil. But I feel like avoiding him is dumb. Because he obviously knows exactly where we are. If he's either some great old one bullshit or like some cult stuff. They got eyes and ears everywhere, as you said. So he knows where we are. And I feel like avoiding, like specifically trying to avoid him is a bad idea. And if we go along with him, we're more likely to stay on his good side, is my thought. Reginald watches you with a look of confusion as you get your things and leave with Meyer. You go together. Hey, I'm going to this pub. If I don't come back in like an hour, send the cops. You go together to a nearby pub and he buys you a drink to, as he says, congratulate you. We are very satisfied with your work so far, Dr. Huntington. Your handling of our investment has proved extremely fruitful. I'm so glad. Meyer cuts off your objection with a rapid hand movement. I imagine you are disturbed by the most recent development, but then again, I'd always thought a man like you would be more interested in the results rather than fame. Is that not so? Okay, so they 100% had been talking to Guy. Why do they want to remove me from the picture, but use me to like get in, to like do this stuff? What's the point of that? Is that so they can like easily disappear me after they've used me or something? That seems like doing a lot more work than is necessary. You try to remain impassive as you become aware of how closely he's scrutinizing you. Bjerink wasn't exactly... I wonder if this is a real person. Is Bjerink a real guy? I'm gonna have to look him up after this. Just in case. I'm assuming no, but the fact that they're like doing this thing where we're like being pushed out of the picture makes me wonder if like that guy's a real guy and they're doing like a, you know, where like you take real details and use them in a more fictional story. I don't know. I'm curious. I'll look him up afterwards. Bjerink wasn't exactly happy either, but he understood why it was necessary to leave your name out of the press. As, I hope, will you. The important thing is what you got great results. You've worked for us and you've been duly compensated. Meyer is speaking in allusions again. Without saying anything explicitly, his message is perfectly clear. He wants you to leave Delft without seeing or speaking to Bjerink. Interesting. Meyer leaves, giving you no chance to reply. It seems your German backers gave Bjerink no choice but to leave you out of the publication of your results. Reginald agrees with you. You're left frustrated and angry. I think it's best to just take it. I think fighting back against this is a really bad idea. I know it's bullshit. It's obviously bullshit. But I feel like trying to fight back against the Germans is gonna end in bad. Ignore them, old boy. Yes, you will. You will ignore their warning and speak to Bjerink first thing tomorrow morning. Oh. Oh, I don't... that's not really what I wanted to do, actually. I can see why this character would want to do it, but I was kind of wanting to just let bygones be bygones. I don't think this is going to go well. If they give me a chance to, like, fuck off, I will take it. I don't think they're going to, but if they give me that chance, I will. Oh, okay. Very interested to see where this is going. I feel like we're doing good now. I feel like coming here was a good idea. I wonder what would have happened if we hadn't gone here. Would we have had to just, like, continue struggling doing the research on our own, maybe? I don't know. This definitely seems like one of those games that would be interesting to see, like, the different paths and how far they diverge from, just from each other. Because I don't know. I could see the story going in very different directions. Like, if we had done good in Zanzibar, we might still be there, honestly. I have no idea. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. I certainly have. I'm getting very interested in the story. So anyway, if you enjoyed, then you come back and see me next time. Goodbye!